Hi there, guys. It's Kai from the team here with a little bit of a quicker training this week. Wanted to cover how to recognize scalable creative. I think this is something that maybe is going to help people who maybe are scaling with high frequencies and therefore their CPRs going up, or people who just need to learn and prepare for what they need to see before they start scaling. I've actually prepared a couple of examples here on some of the situations where you can identify some scalable creative. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you through this account that I've been helping in the mentorship program, just the process of understanding when a creative is scalable. Okay, so looking at the cost per result, you'll notice a couple of things. You've obviously got a very good cost per result here, and also the ads are they're not getting the same amount of spend. Okay, this is clearly getting more spend and getting more results. And if we take a look here, you can see that breakdown a little bit more clearly. Okay. So what I actually want to focus on is this reach. Okay, so in this example here, we're clearly getting some really solid results, and the goal was to capitalize on the good cost per result by now leveraging that by just increasing the budget, increasing the number of results that we were going to get. Okay, and sometimes it really is as simple as this four-step process. Okay, creative testing. So you can see we're running a creative test here. Okay, we've got four different creatives. We're using a one campaign, one ad set CBO approach. So all of this is under one ad set. We didn't need to make it any more complex than this. That's just not the nature of the project that we've been working on here. And we are creative testing looking for a profitable CPR. Okay, now as it happens, all of these are profitable CPRs. The goal was less than $10. Here we've got $8, so not too bad there. But notice how it hasn't really spent a whole lot anyway. And the majority of our spend is being housed in this $2.50 cost per result range. Okay, so we were creative testing to find a profitable CPR, and we were looking for beyond the profitable CPR for high reach, low frequency. Okay, what does that mean? That to me means that we are looking for this reach number to be higher than 422 or 1000, even 15,000. Okay, when we start to see these numbers really start to stack up, we can actually identify that this is a creative that is speaking to a lot of people. Okay, that's all we're looking for. This is going to vary depending on the market that you're in. Okay, so this is in Australia. You're going to see different numbers if you are in a country that has a smaller population. But in something like the US, this can be a little bit easier to attain because there's a higher population there. Okay, so if we have got 121,000 here, people, the approach that we want to take is then look at the frequency. Okay, if our frequency is over 2, that means that any additional money that goes into that is unlikely to reach more people. Okay, what scaling does is it gives us more money for more impressions. Okay, and if our frequency is over 2, that means that our impressions are twice as high as our reach. Okay, and so if frequency is over 2, it means that we're unlikely to reach any more people. We're just going to be paying for impressions again and again and again for the people that have already seen the ad. And that doesn't put us in a scalable position. Okay, because we're trying to spend more when we're scaling to reach more people. And if our frequency is over 2, that means we're not reaching more people. We're not reaching new people. We're just hitting the same people again and again and again with multiple impressions. Okay, So just to clarify, frequency is the average number of times that somebody sees an ad. Okay. So if that's at 2, naturally, that means that we're not going to be reaching more people. Maybe it's at 3 or maybe it's at 4, and that means that we're not in a scalable position. Okay, so we have 121,000 people reached here. We're nowhere near the frequency of 2, which is great. And we're finding that because of the high reach and low frequency combination, we're actually not struggling to reach new people at all. A great position to scale, especially when we're 4 times better than the CPA target. Okay, so we've got a buffer. So I'm looking for a buffer as well. It can't just be profitable. We have to have a nice buffer there. Typically 20% better than your break even's a good buffer to have. But we know that if we were to scale this, because the frequency is looking pretty good and the reach is looking pretty good and the cost per result is looking good, if we scale this, we won't typically see a huge spike in cost per result. Okay, and that is because we've still got so much room left of this audience to expand into before we start becoming inefficient. It might make the cost per lead fluctuate a little bit, but we shouldn't see like a huge spike, such as if we were moving the frequency from like 4 to 5 or 3 to 4. So in this case, we're actually getting 70 leads a day for this client. And then the client was saying that they were really happy and wanted to scale from 70 leads a day to 100 leads a day. And then it just becomes a simple math equation. Okay, so we take our cost per result, then we times it by the number of desired results, and that's going to equal our budget. Okay, so in this scenario, we were, like I say, getting 70 leads a day. Then we wanted to step on the accelerator, get to 100 leads a day, and I just openly said to the client, we're in a position where we can do that because we've got a great creative here that's leading the line. And look at all the other creatives as well. 1.13, 1.04, 1.06. Fair enough, this has only spent a little bit, but the point remains the same. We're looking really good on frequency. We can afford to increase that budget without jeopardizing the position that we're in. All we had to do at this point was say, okay, so the cost per result at the time was about $2.30. Okay, well, if you want 100 leads a day, $2.30 times by 100 puts our budget on 230 a day, which is what we have been spending. See here, we just changed it to be on 230 a day. And yes, we have experienced a slight increase in cost per result from $2.30 to $2.50, but this is still profitable for the client. They're still happy. Here is another example of how to identify scalable creatives as well. And I wanted to cover a really valuable point here, which is that some creatives might appear to be more efficient. I'm looking at this one here, okay? Or perhaps this one. Notice how these are both outperforming in terms of cost per result the one with the highest reach, or even the second highest reach, or even the third highest reach, okay? So the kind of mistake that I think a lot of people will make is they'll think, oh, this is definitely the winner here, so we'll only want to be spending on that one, and we'd want to cut these out. The error in that line of thinking is that it's kind of almost like the maths is happening in a vacuum, when in reality, this is performing at 26 cents per lead, but it's doing so at a far lower reach, at a far lower volume. Okay, it's able to do this efficiently at a lower volume. This is able to do it efficiently at a higher volume. Okay, so we have these different ads that are essentially doing different things. This one is reaching more people and interesting more people at a higher cost per lead than this one. That's not to say, if we were to remove all of the others, that this performance would stay this way. on a higher reach, on higher volume, you can't expect that this cost per result will continue when it's exposed to more people beyond the kind of initial group of people that the algorithm wants to show this to. Okay, the same goes for this one. We've reached 100 people here, a really great cost per lead, but that's not to say that it's going to outperform this ad when it gets to 7,800. Okay, it's because these ads are like working together to fill the gaps, if you will, in the scaling process or in the audience process, where we are essentially using different ads to appeal to different people. Okay, so for example, these two are videos, and this is a single image going to appeal to different people. This one is, from a man's like perspective, and this is from a woman's perspective, and so they're going to appeal to different people. And so what you're able to do with this creative differentiation is actually cover a lot of different groups. And so if you increase the budget here, it's actually going to trickle down throughout the whole thing, and it's going to help, obviously, this one where we have a scalable creative, but it's also going to help some of the kind of lower reach ones. Okay, so my point here is mainly around this cost per result. Okay, and not trying to optimize down towards the best possible cost per result if you've got something that is working at a higher volume. Okay, so this is the highest volume reach at the moment. Obviously, hasn't spent a huge amount just yet, but this is the highest volume in terms of reach, and it's getting a good cost per result. The frequency is nice and low here, because you can see reached just under 8,000 people, and our impressions are under 11,000. So that frequency is staying like nice and under control, under 2, and that is essentially the position we want to be in before we scale. Okay, so a quick recap here. Creative testing is what you're going to be trying to do to find profitable CPRs. If you have a creative that has been tested and has a profitable CPR and is getting a high reach and low frequency, that means that it is a scalable creative. From there, you want to take your cost per result, times that by the number of desired results that you have, and that's going to be your budget. From there, you might have to adjust a little bit as you progress, because CPR might rise, but ultimately that is the position that you want to be in, because it's going to enable you to hit scale and recognize what that scalable creative looks like. Okay, and so that's a really important thing to note. The other important thing to note is this: creative testing. You are not going to be in a position to scale if you kind of like only have budget for like this one creative, and you don't have any creative in reserve. You're not going to pause all your creative testing. No, you need to be continually trying to look for solid creative. Okay, creative that can compete with some of the best ones that you're running in the account. Okay, that's one of the reasons why this account is performing so well. Okay, because we've got a variety of creative here. So hopefully this helps you in the future identifying profitable CPR creative tests. What of those, looking for the high reach, low frequency, so that you can essentially understand what your best performing ads are at volume, and then push those even more. Okay, hope this helps. All the best.